Let's get on little educational purposes here because I have all your stuff that you do. What is it, Reiki? Is that how you say it? Reiki?
Reiki. Yeah.
Reiki. I knew that. What is that? Because I hear it all the time.
Yeah, it's blown up on TikTok and social media. So Reiki is actually it's a Japanese energy healing art, and I have to explain to people that it's even though it was founded by a Buddhist monk, it's not a Buddhist practice. It's founded yoga and tantric healing and pranic healing, but it was founded by a Buddhist monk. Actually, when he was really, really ill, like meningitis level ill, and had this experience where he saw these symbols and realized that there is a I don't want to call it a frequency because it's not, but a healing current, there we go, of energy that really anybody can tap into. And it has really spread. I have been impressed when I started learning in 2013. Like I just woke up one morning and was like, I need to learn Reiki. I had no idea what it was. So I was like, okay, and I'm crazy. Like I'm waking up with like, you need to go learn this. But I started learning it. My ex-husband had done a tour in Iraq and he had a lot of like soft tissue injuries. And so it's hard to help that. You know what I mean? Like bones are one thing, muscles are a different thing. And so it's hard to help that. So I was like, what can I do to learn? What can I do to help that? Um, so I started learning Reiki and I got so fascinated with it. And when I learned that at the time I was learning it in 2012, 2013, et cetera, 2014, they were starting to implement it in VA hospitals. And I was like, okay, well, there has to be something to it then if they're utilizing it in cancer centers and, VA hospitals and not just some like back alley, like I know a lady,
Yeah.
Um, so it's an energy healing art. And I tell people that it's very similar to when you go to church and they do the laying on of hands, same thing, like literally same thing. Um, and there are so many forms of it out there. I really fell down the rabbit hole. I think actually the number of Reiki certifications that I have is incorrect. It's probably more than that because every type of Reiki has a beginner, an intermediate, and a master, and then a master teacher, and sometimes a grandmaster. So every
Right.
different form of Reiki that I'm certified in, I have 4 or 5 certifications with it. And I fell down the rabbit hole with it and learning all of these different things. And I got really fascinated with it because people have adapted it and utilized it for centuries and not realized that they have. And it's the same way in that when you were a kid and maybe you were out riding your bike and you fell and you got hurt and you come inside and you go to mom, and whether mom tells you to stop crying or whatever, she's still going to hug you and she's still going to, or kiss your boo boo, when you bumped your leg when you were 3 or whatever. But just being next to mom, you always felt better, right? Being next to mom, you always felt, okay, well, mom's gonna help, mom's gonna fix it. That's literally Reiki energy and people don't realize it. Just parents, moms especially, have a very intense connection because she carried you, like she made you. And so you have a very intense connection. So there's always going to be that ability. Just like, when we get older and mom gets older or whatever, having the kid around you helps to make you feel better too, help you feel better. So it's like a universal healing current that anybody can learn to tap into. You don't have to be some special guru, like anybody can learn to do it. Anybody.
Right. So I'm gonna tell you a story I never told anybody. Well, everybody that's on. So I tore my calf muscle years ago.
Ow.
We had a lady at work that was like, I don't know if she called Reiki. I wasn't paying attention. She's like, I can help you heal. We used to call her nickname was Mother Nature. You
I
know,
love it.
I mean, we always made fun of her like she chewed tree bark and stuff, whatever. I'm like, I could barely walk into work. That's how bad it was. Like I was in tears time I got to work. I'm like, whatever. Okay, cool. The next day I woke up and I walked right into work. No problems. And I'm like, it didn't dawn on me. Then she's like, I come in and she was like, "Did that work?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "My leg feels good." She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Son of a bitch!" Like, are you serious? Like, so
Yep.
there's so many things out there that, same with the paranormal, that we don't want to believe, but it smacks us in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you kind of have to believe a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I will say that in learning all of the different like healing modalities and stuff, what's funny is I also got obsessed with quantum physics. Like I started taking this is let me fly my nerd flag. Um I started taking the free quantum physics and quantum theory courses on the MIT website for fun. And then I was like, holy shit, this is this. Oh my God, this is this. Like, so when you look at like frequencies, a lot of ancient cultures utilize frequencies for healing, and for as a weapon. Basically, they built temples and rooms that all vibrated at certain frequencies and so on. And now, everybody in the scientific community is like, oh yeah, there's frequencies. And it's like, we've been telling you this for how long?
Yeah.
But all of those things like that. And then with healing modalities as well, all of these things have been used for centuries and, millennia to heal people. And it's amazing when somebody comes in. I actually really love people that don't believe in Reiki and they're like, whatever. And then I work on them for a couple minutes and they're like, what the hell did you do? Like one of my favorite ones, there's an actor, his name is James Stokes. And I was at an event and I was working on some people and there were a couple of professional wrestlers there. And one of them saw I did Reiki and he was like, do you have time? Will you work on me? I was like, absolutely, I will. So James had been sitting across and he was watching and I went to the bathroom and passed by. He said, hey, he's like, excuse me. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, I've been watching and I'm watching everybody get up and walk away. And he's like, what are you doing? So I explained it to him and he's kind of leaned forward and he goes, we do that to me? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, come on, like now, go. So I sit him in the chair and I didn't have any of my like massage chairs, anything. So I just sit him in the chair and I start to work on him. And all I do is put my hands on his shoulders. And I've been doing it so long that I can sit and hold somebody's hand, and that's all I need to do. But I put my hands on his shoulders. All of a sudden, I'm like, dude, my jaw started shaking. And I was like, what's up with your jaw? Like, what's going on? Like, this hurts. Like, like my jaw started shaking. I felt like I couldn't close my jaw. And he gets this look on his face and he goes, how did you know that? He like freaks out. He's like, how did you know that? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. It's your jaw. Like, I don't know. You tell me. Like, it's your jaw. And he was like, what the fuck? And I said, all right, I'm gonna need you to take a breath because I feel the anxiety and now I feel like I can't breathe. And he teared up. And his girlfriend was standing there and she walked away. She's like, I'm gonna give you guys a minute. And so I came and sat in front of him and he was like, I've never told anybody this. And he just like blah 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 blah. Like he had a really bad injury to his jaw and it had been hurting real bad. And he was like, I'm afraid to tell anybody, because I can't have my jaw broke or whatever, being an actor and so on. But like him and I are super good friends now because of this. But I absolutely love it when there's people that don't they've never experienced it and they don't believe in it.
Right.
And because I've been doing it so long, like sometimes I don't want to shake certain people's hands. Like I'm getting to where now I don't want to shake your hand. A, because of the synesthesia, and B, because of that. Sometimes I've caught myself where like I can't let go of somebody's hand because they're hurting so bad and they haven't told anybody. And then I'm like, son of a bitch, like I'm gonna be sitting here for 5-10 minutes. Like, but it's amazing what it can do just for the body. And I tell people that it's gonna go wherever it's gonna go. So you might say, well, hey, I busted my knee, it's hurting real bad, like that's where I need help. But you actually have really horrendous disc problems in your back. And that's actually what's causing a lot of problems. It's gonna go there first, like I can work on your knee, I can have my hands on your knee all day long, and it's gonna go here first because that's where it's needed. Like you can direct it, but it's the path of least resistance. It's going to go exactly where it's needed first. So I hope I answered your question. I know that was like 900 other tangents that
No,
we
you
just
did.
went on, but
I mean, I'm not to rewatch it all, but yeah, you answered it. Um, you got so much stuff here, so we'll get aura drawings.
Mhm.
What are they?
Yep. So mine are a little different. I actually utilize one of the forms of synesthesia that I have to do that. Um, when they brought me out of the coma, so I know that I had a little bit of it before, like I mentioned, because I played the trumpet and I could always just see, and I'm going to put that in air quotes because it was like in my mind I could see that the note didn't sit where it was supposed to sit to be in pitch. Well, when they brought me out of the coma, the neurologist came up, and you've got your arms out because you're hooked up to everything. And I remember he patted my arm like this, like 3 times. He was like, "There she is." And all I saw was like green, green, green. And it was like it. I mean, it kind of scared me in a way. I was like, and I know the first thing I said was, "Oh, you're green." And they all kind of giggled, like, "Oh, it's the coma drugs."
Yeah.
And so one of the types of synesthesia I have is called tactile visual. So when I touch things, I physically see a color. So I touch a building, I have found in the paranormal, it's a color. Not all buildings have the same color, even though all wood is blue, stone is usually green. No, like if it's a building with really heightened activity, I can put my hand on it and be like, "Oh shit." But I started between that and seeing people's voices, I started really studying color theory and what color meant. And so I found that when I hold someone's hand, like if I just shake your hand, I'm going to see a color. I'm going to be like, "All right, I see you over there." But if I hold your hand for a minute or two, I start to see layers of color. And so I started drawing that just because some of them are gorgeous, some of them are scary. I'm sure you saw some of the ones, on my page. And I started doing some research with like Carl Jung and things like that, and found out that what I'm seeing, those layers coincide with different layers of the aura, which also coincide with different layers of the psychology. And so I got fascinated with that, and I started doing it as a service years and years ago. And I've drawn a lot of celebrities and things like that, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing. And usually when I do, there's also an attachment, a spirit guide, grandma, mom, whoever comes through, I'll, if I have time, I'll draw them on the side with what color they are, and so on and so forth. But it's an interesting and very shitty gift to have. I mean, if I'm being honest, like I don't like to touch people, and I always was a hugger, and now I'm like, like I'm having a shitty day. You don't want this, like you don't want this because I will give it to you. But I know just from someone's voice and shaking their hand immediately what kind of person they are. It makes it horrendous to try to date because like I can see when you're lying because of your voice. Like, I mean, it's great, and it's really shitty at the same time.
Let's get in a whole bunch of other stuff here. I mean, you got way too many stuff to go over. I mean, this might be like a 4 podcast thing here, but so let's get in. Blue Bodhi. How'd you get the name?
Blue's been my favorite color growing up. I've switched to purple a couple times, but blue's always been my favorite color. And most of the things that I love the most, like I said, wood, trees, those are always blue. Fur is blue. I love dogs. Dogs are always a shade of blue, But when I really started doing this, I mean, my actual name is Mandy. I've never liked it, ever. I don't feel like a Mandy, and so I don't like it. But when I first started doing this, I was like, I feel like I need to be able to separate the spiritual part of me from Mandy, and so I make a joke like Mandy packs my suitcases wrong, like Mandy orders the wrong food, like, but she knows the owner, so we can't fire her. Like I always joke like fucking Mandy, but I was trying to figure out a name, right? And I just couldn't. And the year I lost my mom, I started studying Buddhism, and I I just instantly kind of jived with it. Like I've taken my Buddhist precepts and all those things. Um, and somebody mentioned to me, I was talking about how I loved the fact that there are female bodhisattvas, because you just don't really find that in a lot of religions. It's all, dudes. And one of the most famous and powerful bodhisattvas is a female, and you see statues of her in almost every Buddhist temple. And I had a friend that was helping me with some stuff, and we got to talking about that. And I said, you know what? We were just joking around. I was like, well, Blue Bodhi rose off the tongue really well. And she was like, oh my God. She was like, that's perfect for you. And I was like, dude, I am not cool enough to call myself that. Like, I love the movie Point Break. Don't get me wrong. Patrick Swayze is epic in that. But, and she was like, no, seriously. She was like, you explain to me what a bodhisattva does. So what a bodhisattva is somebody that could in their lifetime reach enlightenment, but they choose to forego that to help other people. So in other words, they put aside their own enlightenment and hitting nirvana to help other people. She was like, that's all you do. She's like, that's all you do. You do appointments, you talk to people, she's like, that's all you do is help people. She was like, it's the perfect name. And so I started using it, and I never, ever felt like I earned it. Like it just felt weird. I felt like such imposter syndrome. It was so bad. And then in 2020, late 2020, I had a girl come into the shop I was at, and she wanted to interview me for a paper or something, and I thought, oh, okay, it's like a high school paper. She wrote her entire thesis on me, on synesthesia, and because I had helped her mom get past losing a baby. It almost makes me want to choke up a little bit. I had helped her mom get past losing a baby in a very horrendous way. And so she was like, you changed my mom's life. And she was like, and then my mom started telling me about other people that you've helped. And she was like, and I want to write a paper about you. And so that was the first time I was like, I'm Bodhi, like I'm Bodhi, like that was me. So that was the first time I actually felt like I deserved the name, and now it's such a part of everything I do that I feel weird when people call me Mandy. Like when I have to give my name at a hotel, and I'm like, well, I mean, it's Mandy, like I'm like the very Mandela song, like it's Mandy. But it feels weird to be called that now. But yeah, that's it. It started, believe it or not, as a joke, and then the people around me were like, no, that's right. That's right. That's what you should be. So
I mean, it kind of called to you. I mean, through your friends.
mm-hmm.
So I mean, like you said, it feels weird to be called Mandy now. So you are Blue Bodhi. You are Blue Bodhi.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. So I had a few things written down here.
I like that you said I don't script this, and then you're like, I've got all this stuff written.
You had so much stuff. I mean, it was like I had to take notes. So on your website, you have a lot of gravestones listed.
Mm-hmm.
And what is up with that?
Is so it like I bought a church in Pennsylvania, in Western Pennsylvania, and I wasn't looking for a church. Definitely didn't think you could buy a graveyard. I was looking for some haunted estate, literally to live in, to go be some weird wicked witch in the woods or whatever. And I'm sitting in the bathtub talking to my best friend, having a good girl bubble bath, and we're joking and laughing, and I'm scrolling through Zillow, and all of a sudden this church comes up, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I need to go look at this place. She was like, dude, that needs so much work. She's like, what the hell? I was like, I love this place. This is my place. She was like, no, seriously, like, look at this one over here. She keeps sending me all these ones. So I did an event at West Virginia State, drove the 6 hours up and looked at the building. And as soon as I pulled onto the property and I saw the cemetery, the graveyard, I got so protective of it. I was like, I got to buy this place. So on my website, I have something called Adopt a Grave, because there are like 360, 370 graves out there. And it is an old cemetery. Like, it's the first grave that we could find out there is 1836 or 1834, one of those two, almost 200 years old. So a lot of the stones are broken. A lot of them are falling over. Some of them are misplaced. Someone who owned the property after the church sold it decided it would be a great idea to use a headstone as a stepping stone into like things like that. And I just got so protective and mad about how that had been treated because I have family buried all over Pennsylvania. All of my Irish ancestors that came over here, all buried in Pennsylvania. Other side of Pennsylvania, but in Pennsylvania. And I thought, my first thought was, I would be horrified if I knew that that was my family and their grave had been knocked over so long that all the writing was gone. Like, or it had been moved and nobody even knows where they are. Like, I would be
Wow.
horrified at that. And I walked around, I looked at the property, and we went down in the basement. The place is massive. We went down in the basement. We were walking through, and there's an area in the back where you kind of have to go single file. Like you can't really walk two people. Well, my best friend Sass was in the back, and all of a sudden she comes bolting through. She's like, "Get out of my way. Something touched me. Something pushed me. Get out of my." She goes out of the building, doesn't come back in. And I'm like, I like it even more,
Soul.
and yeah, yeah. I mean, the graveyard itself, I was going to buy it just for that. And so the adopted graves are to help me take care of that because
Okay.
I've already spent tens of thousands of dollars just eradicating rats and groundhogs that were eating through the graves. Like it's already cost me a lot just to fix some of this. Um, but I had a friend of mine, Shauna from Unique Paranormal. She was videoing everything because I live in Oklahoma. It's like a 14-hour drive. And because I was like, let's video everything. So when I go home, I can look at it and know what kind of a money pit I'm about to buy. And I don't remember, I was sitting there doing something. All of a sudden I get these texts like, bam, bam, bam. She was like, you need to listen to this right now. Watch this video. So she had been going back through listening. And there's a part where I make a joke because there's a bathroom on each floor, right? And down in the basement, there's a sign and it says men's bathroom here. Well, I make a joke. I'm like, oh, the men got to go to bathroom in hell. There's only 5 women looking at this property. And you hear a man go, yup, behind us. And I'm like, oh, what? Like just things like that. And it instantly got me so excited. I'm already protective over it. And now I'm excited. And so
Yeah.
yeah, that the rest is history. But those are all to help me take care of
Okay.
the graveyard. Like just having it mowed is expensive as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to go out there. Like I said, I talked to you before, and we had a group out there. I think it's Alme Paranormal. They were out there beginning this year or last year. I think last year with Verona Ghost Chasers, and they actually ran up the steps. And that's the first time they had left the property. I've heard this a couple times from other groups. So I am a basement freak. I
I
love
hate it.
basements.
I'm not gonna
So,
lie. I was a brave girl the last time I was there, and I went down there by myself only during the day. It's yeah, you have to fight not running up the stairs. It's creepy.
I did tell them, probably stupidly, that I will do the basement solo as soon as I get there. I won't even walk the place. I'll just go straight to the basement. 1 hour in the basement and no flashlight. Like, I'm game. And they're like, oh, it's pretty bad down there. I'm like, how bad? And they're like, telling me. I'm like, damn it. But I made that promise. So next time I do go out there, I will do a solo basement.
I'm not gonna hold you to that, but I mean, if you want to, I'm saying, like, yeah, we when we like I said, there was 5 women that we all went walked around. The realtor was a woman, and we were opening doors, looking at stuff, filming things, and there's the most creepy crawl space I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's part of the original foundation. There's been 3 buildings. This is the 3rd building that's been right there.
Okay.
And we opened it up. We've got videos going and stuff, and we've got a voice at this point now because so many things had happened. We walked in, and there's somebody had put like all these shutters, different colored shutters on the wall. One of them goes flinging off, and I'm like, I mean, the building's my scientific self, mundane before magical. I'm like, it's been sitting, like so. There were 16 nails. There was no way. And I mean, it was like, bam, like, yeah, it scared the shit out of the realtor. She was like, I can wait outside. I'm like, no, no, no. But we're downstairs and Shauna turns on, a box or something, necromancer, and we open up the crawl space, and it's like there's a little closet and then this crawl space. And I'm like, yep, nope, I ain't going in there. And we made this joke because it's had a lot of water damage down there, so there's mold and stuff. There's an upside down cross in mold on the door. So we were making a joke about that. And on the spirit box, something goes, help. And I go, oh, Shauna, you're at the door. You get to go help. And she's like, I'm not going in there.
I said, Shauna ain't going in there.
Goes, chicken, and laughed. And I was like, it just called you out, dude. And like, but we shut that shit really quickly. And we were like, all right, like, I don't like to open it. And, but the basement is laid out real weird. It's like 2 U shapes. And so you get turned around down there really easy. Like on the outsides, there are windows, insides, they're not. And the back foundation is, up against graves. Like it's creepy. And women get very uncomfortable. There's an area that's oil tanks, the old oil tanks for the heat and stuff like that. There's a gentleman that's in there, and I've just named him Benny. We've gotten Benjamin and Benny repeatedly up there. So I've just called him Benny. Guys have no problem. My dad went down there, hung around by himself down there. He's like, I love it down here. I'm like, well, yeah, because you're a dude, so you may not have a problem down there. Yeah. But women, he doesn't like women in there. Like he don't push you out, but he will kind of, like a dad kind of pushing you out of like, you don't need to be in the garage, kiddo, like go on like that. But yeah, I don't, we had a smoke alarm, a fire alarm go off. Somebody left an old system in there, and the electric flash that went off. It's just me and Sass in the building. I'll stay upstairs all day long. And it goes off, and we look at each other, and I was like, it's in the basement. She's like, I know. And I said, I don't want to go down there. She's like, me either. And I said, all right, I'm calling the fire department. And we went outside. I'm like, I'm not going down there. But every time we have a team there, they get told to go in the basement. Their spirit boxes will always say they'll try to get them in the basement every single time. And Benny brings down your neck. Yeah. He does, like, you're not wrong. It's like someone is right here, but it's only women really that report that. And it's not mean. It's just like, what are you doing in here? And if you really think about it, at the time, those, oil tanks were put in there, like women didn't work on that stuff, so you can't be mad at him. Like it's his place, Yeah. But, yeah, it's interesting. We get a lot of activity in there with so many different spirits, and, getting touched is another thing there. I've been a lot of places, and when we first were in there, the very first investigation we did, sitting in the cathedral, you can hear footsteps walk up behind you, which that always creeps me out. It doesn't matter. Always creeps me out. And then it's like if a little kid's trying to get your attention and they just are kind of like, hey, they just poke you. Like that happens a lot. They love flashlights, like the mag lights back and forth. We get such, oh my God. That's the favorite thing there is. So if y'all go, mag lights. Right. But yeah, we have a lot of people. We had multiple people in one weekend. We were up there painting and working, and would be like, hey, who's the lady in the red shirt that's helping? I'm like, there's no one in a red shirt in here. Like multiple, like 5, 6 people saw this woman in the kitchen. And I mean, nothing bad. She just walks through, but you can see her very plainly. And I love it there. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I love it there. I'm going back in a couple weeks to stay for a couple weeks. And I love it. I love it a lot. Cool.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of great things about that place.
Good.
I believe we do have an investigation coming up there end of the year. Alme, help me out with that.
I mean, I'm inviting you up. You can come up and hang out. I'm just saying.
All right. So a couple weeks, you said. So I do have one guest question or hopeful. You have some books out. correct? If I'm to buy a book, what book do I need to buy?
Well, are you a gamer or are you more of a horror fan?
Oh man, I'm a true crime fan. That's what I am.
Okay. Okay. So, I have a book that I started writing it in, oh God, 1996. And I didn't finish it till 2013 because I didn't know how to end it. Called The Vampire Strain. I will
Okay,
say my
so
editor fucked part of it up. So there's a part in there that's repeated. Actually have it. But it is this one right here.
okay,
And it's a good conspiracy, zombie, vampire, Freemasons, like all the shit. I did a lot of research for this, so everything in here about the Black Plague and the saints that were involved in it were actual documented people. So but yeah, this is actually my favorite. It's the last book my mom read before she passed away, and I
okay.
promised her I'd write a sequel, and I haven't been able to. I haven't been able to. So, but this one is the one I said if you're a gamer or you love just technology, computer stuff, is also a conspiracy theory. But it's uh, it's interesting. It has to do a lot with astral travel, being stuck in technology via astral travel, and things like that. So,
All right. So the main question why I'm asking is if I buy a book off Amazon and I can meet you and you can sign it, because
yes.
I'm going to donate it to our charity that we're doing for the Cleveland Paracon.
Oh, I would love that. Well, I'll tell
Okay.
you what. I also have some other books. I got bored during COVID. I wrote 4 books during the shutdown. I'll tell you what. I will get some copies and sign them and give them to you, and you can.
I mean, it's up to you. I mean,
I
I
will.
don't
I will
mind.
gift them. I will gift them to you, and yeah, you can do whatever will help you raise some money.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. I just want trying to raise as much money. I am like jamming my charity. It's supposed to be a basket, but I built a coffin, so it's a charity coffin for this giveaway.
Stop it.
No,
That
um,
is so cool.
yeah, we'll see. The issue is, it's nice because a lot of people are gifting a lot of stuff, and I have like I might have to have 2 coffins. I don't know yet.
Oh,
So we got
I mean, that's a good problem.
yeah, it is because as long as we can raise as much money as possible for the place, that's all I care about. So
Well, I also have an obsession with creepy dolls. I'd be happy to
oh,
donate a
come
creepy doll.
on, oh man, do you know do you know Haunted Haven, Stephanie Pitts?
No.
Okay, she's a creepy doll lady. She does a lot
Yeah,
of that.
I've got a few like
Yeah.
I
So I'm
have
not
a
a I'm not a creepy doll dude. I'm not gonna tell you straight out. I'm not a creepy doll guy. But I just felt like I needed a doll in this charity basket. So I had her younger daughter pick one out for me because she sells a lot of haunted dolls.
Mhm.
So she picked one out and we'll see. And the thing is I'm going over to UK next month in
Uh-huh.
June. And I told her I'll bring a doll back for her too. So
Oh, that ought to be fun. That ought to be
so
fun.
I have a feeling, yeah, Alma, you'd have twin dolls in the coffin. Great. No, I mean,
Yeah, I you can't see them. Well, I mean you can. I've got 2 behind me. This one, the white one, Shauna and Danielle gifted me from the Doss house. That's
yeah.
Birdie. My entire living room, I have these built-in shelves, dolls. I'm fixing to I have a whole bunch of other dolls. We're fixing to have a hall of dolls at the reliquary. um and most of them will be for sale. But yeah, yeah, I'd be happy to gift one if you would like. So, or
For a good
maybe a
cause.
ventriloquist dummy, or
It's for a good
marionette.
cause.
I've got some marionettes that are pretty creepy.
Yeah. Creepy's good, I think. I don't know. I'm just scared about bringing this damn doll back from the UK. Like, I'm not a big believer in haunted dolls, but I'm like, I don't know if I want this damn thing on the plane with me.
Yeah, but I didn't like dolls for the longest time. Like I loved Barbie, and like She-Ra back in the day, but Then I saw the Puppet Master, that movie in the 80s, and then I hated dolls after that. And now I have a problem. Now I have an obsession.
It's not a
In
bad
fact, this doll
stuff.
right here, I ordered off of eBay, and it came with a bag of hair. And when I messaged the person, I was like, I thought it was a wig, like an extra wig. No, no, it's just a bag of hair. And so when I messaged the person, they were like, well, I don't know, that shouldn't have gone with that. And they're like, let me find out let me ask the lady who packaged it up for me. And I've never heard back. And I'm like, cool. So I just have
I
a
bet you
random bag of someone's hair. Like, what the hell? Like, okay. But I keep it with the doll because I'm like, I don't want to separate you. Like, don't be mad. Like, don't be mad. But yep, that one in particular has a bag of hair that goes with it.
So when you pick a doll out, is it like a feeling, or because a lot of people buy dolls because they're creepy looking,
Mm-hmm.
or is it a feeling that you have that something might be with it, or you just like the creepy dolls?
No, mine's definitely a feeling because there's a lot of times I'm places and they have a lot of really cool dolls, and I'm like, meh,
Nothing.
meh. And then I might go someplace and end up with 12. Like I don't know, Shauna. I don't know if you saw the video I put out. Shauna and I took her to Eureka Springs, and we did an investigation and got to go down in the morgue and stuff like that of the Crescent Hotel. And there's flea markets everywhere, right? Like I was raised, we always stopped at all those things. So we go into this place, and unfortunately, dolls are big business, and so some people are like, oh, they price it really high. They had some cool ones that I would have grabbed, but they were ungodly expensive. And so I thought, whatever. So we're walking around, and all of a sudden she comes and gets me. She's like, you need to come over here right now. And I turn the corner, and the whole entire booth is dolls. And immediately I'm like, that one, like just some of them. And then I felt bad because I left other ones there. I'm like, I feel so sorry. But yeah, it's a feeling. Like it's a certain feeling. And usually, I mean, my best friend hates dolls, and so I'll send them to her, and she's like, you didn't warn me. I opened it up in the text, and there's dolls. But Shauna and I think ended up with 20 something dolls, and they're spread across the back seat of my car. And I took this video, and it was so funny. The lady that was running the antique shop, she even came out. She's like, can I take a picture? This is really cool. I'm like, yes, go for it. So we rode home with a backseat full of dolls. And she's like, you gonna let them ride like that? I said, yeah. I was like, who's gonna mess with the car with a backseat of creepy dolls? No one. No one. No one is gonna touch that car. Like, yeah. So yeah, I do shit like that.
Well, I met Shauna through her podcast. Talked to her a couple times, but knowing her, you do have to have a blast when you guys investigate.
Yeah, we're a little stupid. It's fun. The ADHD gets to ADHD, and it's great. Give me a little caffeine, and it's on like Donkey Kong. So
Oh, that's cool. So how'd you get the Godmother of Magic name?
that would be my best friend. She's crazy. And I love the shit out of her. But it's so weird. In my live streams all the time, people be like, oh my God, will you be my mom? Will you adopt me? Will you be my mom? And I'm like, well, not really taking on any extra children's right now. It's like, but I will, I started telling people like, I will be your favorite crazy aunt, and then, I was like, maybe not, like maybe not. And so we were joking one day, and we're sitting in my living room, and we're joking. And I had this one person that, I mean, they got creepy with it. And, Auntie B just doesn't sound like me. I don't know, And so I was making a joke. I was like, well, my one niece might fight everybody over being the favorite niece, so I don't know if we can do that. And I made a joke about, when I get older, I'm literally going to be just like the little old fat fairy godmother from Cinderella. I said, but I'm going to whack the shit out of people with my wand, And she was like, well, you do that now. She was like, you're like the godmother of magic. Just a bam. And then that was it. She started calling me that, and it stuck. And so, I mean, I'm happy to be your godmother, like I'm not going to raise you, and I'm going to tell you you're being dumb, but Yeah. So it stuck. It stuck.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I
you
just
said
owned it.
something.
I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna own it,
Yeah,
And yeah, but
you
in
said
a lot
something
of
about like,
spiritual practices,
well,
they'll. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, you're talking about social media and some creepers, and you see that because you're big on social media. I mean, you have moderators. I'm gonna
Yep.
assume a little bit. Yeah, no one likes me, so I don't have to have a moderator. That's it. I mean, that's we're good with that. I don't have to pay anybody for that crap. But no, I mean,